Politico states that Trump supports a comprehensive single bill addressing taxes, border, and energy, with Johnson informing House Republicans of Trump's desire for a unified, big beautiful reconciliation package. U.S. newspapers are removing outdated.
Do Kwon has been extradited to the United States to stand trial on charges related to the Terra cryptocurrency's $40 billion collapse. Upon arrival, Do Kwon entered a plea of not guilty to the charges concerning the Terra downfall. Meanwhile, in the United States, the Corporate Transparency Act, which mandates businesses to disclose their owners, has been delayed once more. An appeals court has temporarily halted the enforcement of this anti-money laundering legislation. Additionally, the U.S. government has imposed sanctions on a Chinese government contractor that hired Flax typhoon hackers.
Brazil's unemployment rate reaches a new record low, yet the pace of job creation decelerates. In the United States, unemployment benefit applications remain constant, but continuing claims have surged to a 3-year high. Additionally, homelessness has increased by 18%, as affordable housing remains elusive for numerous individuals, with factors such as migrants and the cessation of COVID restrictions reportedly contributing to this rise. Meanwhile, in Cambodia, an opposition leader has been imprisoned following his conviction for inciting disorder. Mexico is piloting a cell phone app that enables migrants to notify authorities if they are on the verge of being detained in the U.S. Concerns arise in Mexico that Trump might authorize strikes against drug cartels, prompting plans to open shelters for more than 12,000 citizens deported during Trump's crackdown on illegal immigration. MSNBC remarks that the present Democratic Party lacks any appeal for Trump supporters.
Yarrow, Washington, D.C. expels a high-ranking Somali national found guilty of human rights abuses. Allegedly, critics of Elon Musk have had their verification badges revoked following public confrontations with a billionaire, marking the initial stages of censorship. Venezuela is probing an Argentine officer for connections to terrorism, according to the Attorney General. Lawmakers argue that it is premature to remove U.S. sanctions on Syria. Officials report that Israeli troops set fire to a hospital in northern Gaza after evacuating staff and patients. A week ago, the U.S. sanctioned former Georgian Prime Minister and billionaire Ivanishvili. Britain and the U.S. have also sanctioned Georgian officials for their actions against pro-EU protesters.
Venezuela imposes a $10 million fine on TikTok due to fatalities associated with a viral challenge. A significant data breach involving Volkswagen has revealed the travel patterns of 800,000 electric vehicle owners, tracking their movements from residences to various locations, including brothels. According to Wall Street Journal, in China, the elusive crime boss connected to billion-dollar pig butchering scams has been identified, and it is reportedly that the downfall of a Philippine mayor may be connected to Chinese gangs. Trump will receive his sentence for the New York hush money case conviction before his inauguration, as an appeals court confirms the verdict that holds Trump responsible for sexually abusing E. Jean Carroll. Apple CEO Tim Cook contributes $1 million to Trump's inauguration. AP-NORC poll reveals that Republicans' confidence in the accuracy of U.S. elections has increased following Trump's victory. Ukraine halts transit of Russian gas to Europe after a pre-war deal expired. Ukraine says it downed Russian helicopter with sea drone for first time. 1,700 Ukrainian troops equipped by the West Fleet after being trained in France, leaving the rest of their brigade to suffer heavy losses in battle with Putin's forces. Russia rejects Trump's Ukraine peace proposals.
U.S. imposes sanctions on Russian and Iranian entities for election interference attempts. A U.S. Army soldier is detained in connection with extortion schemes targeting AT&T and Verizon. The U.S. is evaluating possible regulations to limit or prohibit Chinese drones.
Whistleblower claims CIA covered up foreign involvement in Havana syndrome attacks in revealing interview. Meanwhile, a Russian court has instructed Yandex to conceal images of an oil refinery following Ukrainian attacks, according to TASS. Additionally, senior officials' laptops were compromised in a U.S. Treasury hack linked to China, as Treasury's sanctions office hacked by Chinese government, officials say, and the Financial Times reports that AI-generated phishing scams are now targeting corporate executives.
China's industrial profits have continued to decrease for the fourth consecutive month, with a 7.3% drop in November. Meanwhile, the UK economy experienced stagnation in the last quarter, as indicated by revised figures. In contrast, the U.S. retail real estate market is thriving, contradicting forecasts of an e-commerce-driven downturn.
A new law mandates that U.S. agencies must exchange custom source code with one another. The FDA has introduced a proposal for a rule that would necessitate standardized testing methods to detect and identify asbestos in talc-containing cosmetic products. Supersonic passenger planes are moving closer to a comeback, following a successful Boom XB-1 test flight that approached the sound barrier. Hezbollah leader Nasrallah reportedly died last year in the War Operations Room, according to an aide. Germany has decided to withdraw funding from two Israeli human rights organizations. Israel facilitated the departure of a former soldier from Brazil due to an investigation into alleged war crimes in Gaza, and Israel has cautioned its troops against using social media following Brazil's request for the soldier regarding Gaza.
Egypt prohibits Syrians from entering the country globally. Syria plans to restart international flights at Damascus airport. French and German foreign ministers hold a meeting with Syria's new leaders, marking the first high-level EU visit since Assad's overthrow.
China might have prevented Putin from deploying nuclear weapons, according to Blinken. India plans to address Chinese dams with the U.S. National Security Advisor during his visit to New Delhi. Chilean president embarks on a groundbreaking journey to the South Pole amid Antarctica sovereignty dispute. 8 months prior, Chilean lawmakers convened in Antarctica to convey territorial assertions to Russia.
In Saudi Arabia, SRC and Hassanah introduced mortgage-backed securities to enhance real estate investment. Chinese venture capitalists compel unsuccessful founders to be added to the debtor blacklist. Bloomberg notes, fintechs increase advertising expenditures to attract a broader audience.
Elon Musk questions whether America should free the British people in a heated critique of the UK government. Following Musk's comments, UK Prime Minister Starmer condemns those propagating falsehoods and misinformation on the internet. Farage and Musk engage in a verbal battle after Musk suggests the reform leader should resign. Recently, Musk claims Farage lacks the necessary qualities to lead Reform UK. Austrian president considers a far-right coalition after government negotiations collapse.
Austrian liberals withdraw from coalition discussions, causing significant disruption. Palestinian Authority temporarily halts the broadcast of Qatar's Al Jazeera TV. Iran informs Italy of its intention to exchange prisoners for an imprisoned Italian journalist.
China's short video user base decreases by 300 million as the market reaches its peak. Alipay integrates AI image search to strengthen its super app position in competition with Tencent's WeChat. In the United States, a federal appeals court blocks net neutrality rules concerning corporate influence over internet speeds. China plans to offer subsidies for smartphone purchases to boost consumer spending. Meanwhile, in the U.S., a Utah lawsuit alleges that TikTok was aware its live streams targeted children. Additionally, free speech organizations and members of Congress are appealing to the Supreme Court to protect TikTok based on the First Amendment. Former President Trump has also requested the Supreme Court to temporarily halt the law that could lead to TikTok's ban, suggesting a negotiated resolution be pursued by his administration.
Interim South Korean president impeached mere 2 weeks following the ousting of former leader. Musk and Ramaswamy encounter backlash from MAGA supporters after advocating for foreign workers in tech firms, with Musk endorsing a post implying Americans are too retarded for skilled jobs. Americans are fatigued by political news, as indicated by declining TV ratings and a recent AP-NORC poll showing increased disengagement. Estonia's navy will safeguard the undersea power link following damage to the main cable. Finland has detained a tanker associated with Russia after additional undersea Baltic cables were severed, prompting NATO to enhance its military presence in the Baltic due to suspected sabotage. An investigation in Azerbaijan reportedly concludes that a Russian missile was responsible for a fatal crash. It is said that pilots perished along with numerous others in a Christmas Day plane crash, yet they managed to assist half of the passengers in surviving. Russia claims the Azerbaijan Airlines flight that crashed had been diverted due to fog and an alert from a Ukrainian drone. Russia releases a propaganda video depicting the shooting down of Santa Claus.
China asserts that its military 5G base station is the first globally, capable of linking 10,000 robots across any terrain. Meanwhile, Russia has reportedly discovered secret war plans aimed at 160 locations in Japan and South Korea. In South Korea, President Yoon's team argues for immunity from insurrection charges, referencing a Trump ruling. This led to a tense standoff, where South Korean presidential guards blocked the arrest of the impeached Yoon. However, 3 days prior, a South Korean court had approved the arrest of President Yoon as part of a martial law investigation.
Steve Bannon enters conflict against Elon Musk amid MAGA disintegration. Musk labels MAGA faction contemptible fools as a virtual civil war develops. Far-right activist Laura Loomer alleges her suspension on X by Elon Musk.
Trump criticizes Britain's decision to impose a windfall tax on North Sea oil producers, calling it a significant error. The Biden administration introduces exemptions in its new climate regulations for hydrogen energy. Economists warn that Donald Trump's MAGAnomics could harm economic growth, according to FT polls. Trump incorrectly associates New Orleans terror attack with migrants following inaccurate Fox News report. Biden states Islamic State-inspired driver intended to kill before fatal New Orleans rampage. Sources claim Matthew Livelsberger's wife ended their relationship days before the explosion outside Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. A source reveals the driver who detonated a Tesla Cybertruck at Trump Hotel in Las Vegas was an active-duty Army Green Beret. Officials report the soldier shot himself in the head before the Cybertruck exploded outside Trump's Las Vegas hotel. Police confirm suspects in Vegas explosion and New Orleans attack were stationed at the same Army base.
Judge pushes CFTC trial with Gemini to January 21st. FBI releases new video and evidence in D.C. pipe bomb case, still unsolved 4 years later. Biden awards Liz Cheney a Presidential Medal for challenging January 6th attack, as Biden awards the second highest civilian award to leaders of the January 6th committee and 18 others, where Biden awards Winter, Bono, and Soros with Medal of Freedom.
UK government warned of increasing bid rigging risk in public contracts by CMA. Italy announces $1.6 billion SpaceX telecom security services agreement, with PM Maloney unexpectedly visiting Mar-a-Lago to meet Trump, who praises her as a fantastic woman during her Florida visit. India proposes approximately $3 billion in aid and tariff reductions for electronics.
Greenland's Prime Minister advocates for independence from Denmark, influenced by Trump's interest. President Biden prevents a $14 billion purchase of U.S. steel by Japan's Nippon Steel, leading to condemnation from both Nippon Steel Corporation and U.S. Steel for the U.S. government's unlawful decision to block the proposed acquisition. Taiwan suggests making it illegal for a political party to focus on unification with mainland China.
Nazi connections to Credit Suisse were more extensive than previously understood, as disclosed by concealed documents. Honduras warns of expelling the U.S. military amid preparations for Trump-era deportations in Latin America. Ghana invites the African diaspora to return, leading some Black Americans to acquire its citizenship. In India, draft data rules require parents' consent for children to have social media accounts. Washington Post editorial cartoonist claims she left after management refused her Donald Trump sketch. Citi and Bank of America announced their withdrawal from the Global Climate Banking Alliance. Jimmy Carter's funeral is considered a potential target for violent extremists, according to a security assessment. Donald Trump is upset about the flag being flown at half-staff to honor Jimmy Carter during the inauguration, as Jimmy Carter's 6 days funeral commences with a motorcade through South Georgia. Louis Farrakhan lost a defamation and First Amendment lawsuit against the Anti-Defamation League and others 9 months ago. He had initially sued Jewish leaders for $4.8 billion, but a judge dismissed the case. Neil Young is avoiding Glastonbury due to concerns about corporate control. Politico states that Trump supports a comprehensive single bill addressing taxes, border, and energy, with Johnson informing House Republicans of Trump's desire for a unified, big beautiful reconciliation package. U.S. newspapers are removing outdated crime stories, providing subjects with an opportunity for a clean slate. New court records in the U.S. allege that TikTok was aware its live feature was being utilized to groom children. CNN faces trial regarding its report claiming an illegal market for Afghan rescue operations. The United States plans to relax aid restrictions for Syria in a limited gesture of support for the new government. Former President of France Sarkozy is on trial for alleged campaign financing provided by Libya's Gaddafi.
Venezuelan opposition leader, who asserts victory over Maduro, to meet Biden at the White House. Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau may announce his resignation as soon as Monday, according to the Globe and Mail. Pope Francis appoints the first woman to a senior Vatican diplomatic position.
Bloomberg reports that Trump is considering clemency for the January 6 rioters, as Congress is about to ratify his election victory. Former Capitol Police officers have labeled Trump's promises to pardon the rioters as a betrayal. 2 months ago, Trump referred to January 6 as Day of Love when questioned about the Capitol riot. The U.S. Department of Justice has announced that 200 cases related to January 6 are pending as Trump prepares to reclaim the presidency. Studies suggest that while tip pressure can be effective immediately, it may deter customers from coming back. OHSU's study indicates that receiving rehabilitation earlier can enhance concussion recovery outcomes. Hideki Matsuyama establishes a PGA Tour record for score to par in his triumph at the Century.
In the United States, 26% of individuals intend to incorporate GLP-1 medications into their objectives for 2025, with Gen Z accounting for 37% of this group. An ancient wine, believed to be the oldest in the world, has been unearthed containing a surprising additional component, the ashes of a man. Fatty acid amides found in camembert cheese have shown to enhance cognitive function in mice following oral intake. A study has validated that Egyptians consumed hallucinogenic drinks during ancient rituals. Research indicates that a genetic predisposition to schizophrenia is associated with an abnormally shaped skull. Exposure to environmental radiation at Corneville has not consistently impacted the genomes or chemical mutagen tolerance traits of local worms.
Octopuses possess the skills to establish a future civilization if humans become extinct, according to a scientist. In a maze experiment, ants demonstrated better group problem-solving abilities than humans. Modern chimpanzees and ancient humans exhibit comparable patterns in choosing stone tools.
Chili peppers are becoming less spicy due to global warming. Enhancements in physical appearance lead to more pro-social actions. Internet use might enhance mental health benefits for older adults.
More than 180 David Hockney prints come to Palm Springs Art Museum. The Christo and Jean-Claude Foundation, together with the Shed, Central Park Conservancy, NYC Parks, and Bloomberg Philanthropies, celebrate the 20th anniversary of the Gates. YouTube testing a Play Something floating action button on Android. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, the stars of Deadpool and Wolverine, are unlikely to attend the Golden Globes. Meanwhile, Jason Momoa is set to portray Lobo in the upcoming film Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Additionally, the FBI has issued a warning to professional sports leagues after a series of burglaries targeting athletes' residences.
Blinken cautions that Russia is nearing the point of providing North Korea with sophisticated satellite technology. A cyber group based in Beijing objects to U.S. sanctions for its suspected involvement in cyberattacks. Elon Musk announces, "I am Adrian Dittman," following the suspension of a reporter from X for revealing certain information. Disney is close to finalizing an agreement to integrate Hulu Plus Live into Fubo. Malaysia has authorized WeChat and TikTok to function under a newly enacted law. Akamai intends to cease its China CDN operations by June 2026 and is considering selling Tencent and Guangzhou CDN assets. The first anime produced with 95% AI is set to debut in spring 2025. Amazon is developing a Melania Trump documentary, directed by Brett Ratner. Demi Moore has secured her first Golden Globe, marking a significant milestone in her acting career.
A survey reveals that half of the anime industry's workforce exceeds 225 hours per month. The UN cautions that the anime industry could collapse if these problems remain unresolved. Meanwhile, Notch hints at developing Minecraft 2, and expresses interest in creating a roguelike game. Additionally, Carmen Sandiego made a comeback in a new educational app 3 months ago, and a Carmen Sandiego game has been announced for Netflix, Steam, PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch.
Half-Life 3 rumors intensify following a cryptic tweet from the G-Man voice actor, marking his first in years. Samsung and Google are set to introduce a new spatial audio format in 2025, competing with Dolby Atmos. Hisense has unveiled a new 4K laser TV series, featuring displays up to 150 inches and 6.2.2 channels of Dolby Atmos sound. Telegram has prohibited Russian state-owned media channels in multiple EU nations. India has removed restrictions on WhatsApp payments. The UK Antitrust Authority has initiated a review of IBM's acquisition of HashiCorp.
The Large Hadron Collider has discovered the first evidence of the heaviest antimatter particle to date. Scientific American notes that the U.S. drone panic reflects UFO overreactions. Additionally, Bezos' Blue Origin has received an FAA license for the inaugural launch of its New Glenn rocket. The United States has included a ninth telecommunications company in the list of those compromised by the Chinese-backed Salt Typhoon cyber espionage group. The White House attributes these hacks to the telecommunications company's failure to implement basic security measures. Additionally, experts report that hackers have taken control of a variety of companies' Chrome extensions. Furthermore, the U.S. is introducing cybersecurity regulations aimed at reducing the consequences of health data breaches. OpenAI reveals it requires additional capital beyond initial expectations, as it introduces a for-profit strategy. Chinese DeepSeek V3, an ultra-large open-source AI, surpasses Llama and Qwen upon its release. A collection of small robots collaborates to accomplish ant-like feats of strength.
Japan's MUFG Bank experiences cyberattack similar to JL's. Metropolitan Police Department investigating the origin of the attacks. French authorities accuse Telegram's CEO of aiding criminal activities on the platform. A poll reveals that most Americans attribute the UHC CEO's death to insurance profits and denials, in addition to the killer. China introduces a prototype for the fastest train globally, which can attain speeds of 450 kilometers per hour. Scientists involved in the project claim that China's Metal Storm weapon is capable of firing millions of rounds each minute. A fabricated video depicting an Emirates plane crash has sparked worries about AI-generated content, leading Emirates to criticize TikTok and Elon Musk's X for their slow response in removing the fake AI video of the plane crash. Human-created objects now surpass the total weight of all living organisms on Earth. Tesla's response to the Cybertruck explosion demonstrates the company's ability to remotely unlock, monitor, and spy on its vehicles, with Las Vegas police acknowledging Elon Musk's assistance in investigating the incident outside the Trump Hotel. In Los Angeles, a collision occurred between a Waymo robotaxi and a Serve delivery robot. As roads become increasingly populated with robot access, crossing them can be frightening, and school crossing guards report having to evade driverless cars to prevent accidents. Microsoft plans to allocate $80 billion for AI-equipped data centers in the fiscal year 2025. China makes a significant advancement in medicine by performing the first surgery through satellite. Beijing announces initiatives to increase the use of driverless vehicles in the city.
Getty Images is considering a merger with Shutterstock. Valve generates more revenue per employee than Amazon, Microsoft, and Netflix collectively. TikTok data indicates that older music is experiencing renewed popularity. Air pollution generated by artificial intelligence might exceed that of all vehicles in California, prompting the state to address air pollution associated with AI. India has imposed restrictions on VPNs, leading to the removal of Cloudflare's One app from both the Apple and Google stores. A U.S. appeals court has halted the Biden administration's attempt to reinstate net neutrality regulations. Cloudflare promotes multipath TCP, but criticizes Linux for its inadequate support. HDMI version 2.2 now supports bandwidth up to 96 gigabits per second. Rapidus becomes the first Japanese company to set up ASML's UV machine, a chip-making tool for 2nm chips, anticipated to be operational by early 2025.
Elon Musk declares, Our direct path is to Mars. The moon serves as a distraction. NASA states that desert planets similar to those depicted in Dune and Star Wars are improbable to support life. Meanwhile, India embarks on its inaugural space docking mission. Apple will pay $95 million to resolve a privacy lawsuit concerning Siri. Music publishers have agreed with AI company Anthropic on a deal regarding the use of copyrighted song lyrics. Meta plans to create a social media environment populated by AI-generated users to boost engagement, and it is reportedly discontinuing its own AI-powered profiles on Instagram and Facebook. Telegram rolls out third-party account verification, launches NFT GIFs feature. Tech giants miss Malaysia social media deadline. More than half of all Google search takedowns now come from linkbusters.
Americans reduced streaming service expenditures by 23% in 2024, according to a study. Framework laptops to incorporate RISC-V technology. Kodak expands film production capacity to address commercial and consumer needs.
OpenAI did not fulfill its promise of providing an opt-out tool by the year 2025. The Texas legislature is expected to review comprehensive AI legislation in 2025. Some have suggested that Texas should avoid adopting the European approach to AI regulation. NVIDIA plans to make Run AI, the software it purchased for $700 million to assist companies in managing GPUs for AI, available as open source.
Google CEO Sundar Pichai urges employees to prepare for significant challenges in 2025, emphasizing that the stakes are high. He also noted that AI advancements will become more difficult in 2025, as the low-hanging fruit is gone. TSMC has started mass production at its first chip plant in Kumamoto, Japan. A new magazine titled The Art of the Algorithm has been launched, focusing on works related to artificial intelligence. Toyota's humanoid robot, capable of playing basketball, successfully makes an 80-feet shot, setting a new record. Godfather of AI, warns that artificial intelligence might lead to human extinction within the next decade. Airbnb has implemented anti-party measures for New Year's Eve worldwide. A year ago, it was announced that Airbnb would use AI to enforce New Year's Eve parties restrictions globally. Macron urges Europe to abandon weak and defeatist attitudes to earn Trump's respect. He also accuses Musk of directly influencing elections, including in Germany. Norway's PM expresses concern over Musk's political involvement in Europe. In a related matter,